I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
Well, hello there guys, welcome to Dinos Vault, and just as you guys kept requesting, today I give you my much awaited first ride review of the R15 version 3.0. Now most of you know that I've already done a detailed walk around of the R15 version 3.0 at the Auto Expo, where I feature the red color variant as well as the blue color variant. You can watch that video by following the link in the description portion below. Also, I'd like to thank my very good friend and well-wisher Mr. Siddharth from Pearl Yamaha for allowing me to review this bike for you guys. For any query regarding the booking details, the delivery details, etc., you can call the number appearing on the screen currently. The version 3.0 is not a mere facelift or a cosmetic upgrade, but it is actually a completely new motorcycle in and of itself to appeal to the more mature biker of today's day and age. Well, Yamaha's obsession with quality, reliability and durability is as certain as the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, and with this bike we can clearly see what Yamaha are capable of delivering when they are surrounded by intense competition. So let's start with the differences first. So how different is the version 3.0 compared to the version 2.0? I would say it is completely different inside out. It's almost like a completely new bike built right from the scratch. First of all, dimensions wise, the overall length of the bike is up by 20 mm compared to that of the V2. The width is up by 55 mm and the overall height is up by 65 mm. What's interesting though is that the wheelbase of the V3 is down by 20 mm. Now this results in better flickability on the city streets and sharper cornering capabilities on the track. The seat height has been increased from 800 mm to 815 mm to offer a more aggressive seating posture. The ground clearance is higher now as well, from 160 mm to 170 mm. Another surprising thing is that though the curb weight of the V3 is up by 3 kgs compared to that of the V2, the V3 feels a lot lighter to ride and much easier to steer through the traffic. Another hallmark of the engineering brilliance of Yamaha and a clear indication that this machine is truly a class apart. The V3 gets a slipper clutch which the V2 does not. Now slipper clutch is a back torque limiting system which allows you to do faster downshifts without running the risk of the rear wheel hopping or locking. It also provides for a lighter clutch feel. The V3 gets chunkier 41 mm front forks as opposed to the 33 mm forks of the V2. The V3 also gets better brakes. We get a larger diameter 282 mm front disc as opposed to the 267 mm front disc on the V2. At the back, both of them get the same 220 mm disc. The V3 also gets a larger 48 teeth rear sprocket compared to the 47 teeth rear sprocket of the V2. Now this results in faster acceleration compared to that of the V2. The V3 also gets wider tires with a 100/80 front and a 140/70 rear tire as opposed to the 90/80 front and 130/70 rear tire of the V2. The V3 gets a nickel spark plug that increases combustion speed to produce optimal combustion. The V3 also gets the revolutionary VVA or variable valve actuation system. Now this system consists of a more aggressive cam profile that sets in at about 7400 rpm for a ballistic top end performance. In a non-VVA motor, the cam has to be set for either low to mid-range power or mid-range and top-end power, but the VVA allows the engine's power delivery to be more linear and consistent throughout the rev band. While it significantly improves the top-end performance of the bike, it also ensures that we have more than adequate bottom-end torque to enjoy our rides through the city streets. Now looking at the bike's design, the new design has the R DNA dripping all over it. It's sharp, sophisticated and stunning, being heavily inspired from its super slick elder track siblings the R1 and the R6. The dual LED headlamp layout lends the bike all the aggression up front. The front fairing is so beautifully laid out that you'll fall in love with this bike at the very first glance. It just looks so premium and intense and aggressive all at the same time. The windscreen is perfectly laid out, thereby allowing you to tuck behind it comfortably, and the wind protection is very effective as well. Coming to the profile, the muscular tank with the accentuated gills takes center stage here, thereby lending the bike a big bike feel. The new Delta box frame flows beautifully and promises superb rigidity and balance and control. Further aiding this is the all-new aluminium swing arm that takes the handling characteristics of this bike to a completely different level. The tail is sharper and sleeker, very much reminiscent of the R1 and the R6. We get an all-new LED tail lamp layout that perfectly blends in with this superbike-inspired design theme. The exhaust is all new as well. It sounds a lot more racy and sporty than before. The seats are all new too. We get a very good quality rider seat with premium quality foam that offers surprisingly superb comfort for a supersport machine. Now this has to be the most comfortable saddle for a supersport machine among its rivals like the RS200 and the RC200. Now please note that this bike can be enjoyed best riding solo, because though we do get a pillion seat that is relatively lower compared to the first floor seating of the V2, it still isn't roomy enough for ladies to feel comfortable, unless of course your girlfriend is the size of Camila Cabello. The clip-ons are of far better quality. Everything on this bike just screams quality. It's almost like Yamaha putting their foot down and saying to their rivals, let me show you who's the boss when it comes to offering tank-like build quality. I mean, the fit and finish is beyond amazing. The switches are perfectly laid out and are of good quality. We get the high beam flasher now integrated in the headlight switch, which provides for easier reach. Now coming to the Speedo Console, this is all new as well. We now get a full digital display as opposed to the part digital, part analog setup on the V2. The readouts here include the speedometer, odometer, trip meters, gear position indicator, average speed, instant fuel consumption, average fuel consumption, a clock. We get an RPM shift light, the VVA indicator which comes on as we go past the 7400 RPM mark, and a whole lot more. Now coming to the most important section, the engine specs. The engine is all new as well, and that's the best thing about this bike. We now get a 155cc engine compared to the 149cc engine on the V2. Now this is a single cylinder fuel injected liquid cooled 4-valve 155cc engine that puts out 19.3 PS of max power at 10,000 RPM and 15 Newton meters of max torque at 8,500 RPM. This comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. So in terms of power, the V3 puts out 2.3 PS of more power, but the torque remains the same for both. The ride feel that the V3 has on offer is far superior and much more pleasurable than that of the V2. The engine is an absolute delight in that there are no vibrations apparent whatsoever throughout the rev band, at least until we hit the higher RPMs. The riding dynamics are perfectly sorted out, the seat is ultra comfortable, and the R15 V3 is here to smash the age-old belief that supersport bikes and comfort stand poles apart. The bike is aggressive, but at the same time, if you find yourself the right seating posture, it is extremely comfortable, and this comes courtesy of the perfectly cushioned rider seat and the ideally set clip-on handlebars. As you slot it into gear and let go of the throttle, it's like getting a taste of heaven. The joy is limitless, the smile on your face just stays on forever, and you can see the Rossi within you really coming alive. The acceleration is intense, the ride is engaging, the agility is just amazing, and the pleasure levels just keep getting better and better. Believe me guys, I was expecting this bike to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be so good. This is perfection personified in terms of pretty much everything. The gear shifts are smooth and precise, the slipper clutch provides for an ultra light clutch feel, the throttle action is a lot lighter now. Overall, what an amazing experience Yamaha have given us with the version 3.0. I would say the legend has not just been reborn, it has been resurrected back to life, just like the Superman's return in the Justice League movie. Talking about the brakes, as mentioned before, we get a larger 282mm front disc and a 220mm rear disc. The braking is quite good as it is, but I really wish Yamaha would offer at least optional ABS for this bike, because everything else is so perfect on this bike that you wouldn't want to miss out on not getting ABS. Especially the performance and the handling is so good that you might get easily carried away on some occasions, and having ABS on board would really help. Now talking about the suspension, we get chunky 41mm front forks now, and we get a monoshock at the back. The suspension is another major USP for this bike. It is perfectly tuned to offer great comfort at lower speeds and superb stability at higher speeds. Now talking about the tires, we get 17-inch wheels and tubeless tires. We get fatter 100 by 80 tire up front and a 140 by 70 tire at the back. Now MRF rubber is good for city rides, but if you're going to attend track day events regularly, I'd suggest that you opt for the Metzeler radial rear tire. Now coming to the cons of this bike, now please note that these are not cons by any means. I absolutely love the bike just the way it is, but as per general expectations, the pillion seat is not roomy enough. It can only accommodate a supermodel. Secondly, the MRF tires are good and more than sufficient for city rides, but I really wish Yamaha had offered Metzeler or Pirelli tires as standard just to match the brilliant handling characteristics that this bike has on offer. Thirdly, I would say it's the lack of ABS, because this bike is so perfectly made that having at least optional ABS would have literally sealed the deal. Now please note that we also get a list of accessories that Yamaha are offering for this bike. First, we have the race kit that comprises of the Daytona exhaust system, which would help the bike shed some weight. Also part of the race kit is the 140 section Metzeler radial rear tire. Now please note that Yamaha are offering only the rear tire. We do not get a front tire officially, although you can always procure it outside. As part of the accessories, we get a USB charger. Now that would really come in handy. We also get frame sliders, tank pad, a skid plate and a high tone horn as optional accessories. Now mileage wise, I am told that we can expect 40 kmpl from this bike, which should hold good because I have friends who already own the R15 version 2. I believe we can also end up extracting more mileage if we ride the bike sensibly. So I'd suggest that you go through my mileage tips video. You will find the link in the description portion below. Price ex-showroom Hyderabad for the R15 version 3.0 is rupees 1.25 lakhs, which makes this bike around 6 grand dearer than the V2. But believe me, this bike is worth every penny. Well, that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless and ride safe.